always glad to be on this podcast, man. I've always been staying tuned to your channel, and I just want to say for everybody out there, good on you for supporting the Typical Skeptic podcast, because you have on so many amazing guests in the paranormal world, and anytime I talk to anyone about anything paranormal, I usually refer them to you. I'm not trying to ego boost you, but I'm saying, because you've been under attack. Your channel, personally, all the topics you're talking about are very deep, and a lot of people may not even want to touch it. So I just have to give you kudos where it is due. First of all.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. And so especially for the audience, keeping in touch and connected, that's the most important, is that people get active in their local community as they start changing things. That's exactly what I do as a content creator. I'm actually going to college campuses. I'm talking with college students. I'm setting up local projects where we're growing food together. We're creating community centers, nonprofits, and all this stuff. And we're demonstrating the solutions, not just talking about it. And then we're creating spaces that will invite the general public to learn about these ideas. People who, we never may reach through the internet because of all the different things that happen. So it's very important that we set up those real life bases to connect, and that also the influencers help us do that too, because frankly, I'm a small influencer compared to someone like Joe Rogan or Alex Jones or any of these people. If they wanted to, they could set up a community center way faster than I am. They could set up a food forest within a week. They can tell all their viewers within a week to do a certain thing, and it would go viral. There'd be a hashtag. It would be all over the internet if they strategically did it with all the contacts and people they know. But I can only criticize all day. I have to show by example, and so that's exactly what I'm doing. And I thank you for having me on to share that message, whether it's permaculture or voluntarism. Maybe your viewers never heard of those two ideas. I call them the future, or civil disobedience and Taoist philosophy from ancient China. Qigong, Tai Chi, the amazing exercises. Integrative nutrition, getting beyond the diets that pull people in and get them into their boxed ways of thinking. I don't claim to really know everything in this reality, and that's why you're a skeptic, I'm a skeptic, we're always asking questions. What I want to do is for people to think for themselves and to ask questions to begin with, because we're living in an increasingly artificial world, detached from that variability. Perhaps, having love, having any sense of real human connection. That's what we're going to need to create, which AI can't create for us. If anything, it's pulling us away from that. It could help us set up these projects, but the projects itself, it can't put a plant in the ground for you. It can't love you and emotionally care for you. They can try, and they will certainly try, but this is the things that we have to hold sacred above all other things. So I'm just prefacing before we get into the paranormal. I'm not going to talk much when Ryan enters the podcast, and everybody's going to love Ryan because he's the most charismatic person I've ever met on the paranormal subject. So you guys will love him. I'm just kind of introducing.
Yeah. When did you first start getting into all this, Cory? And what was your catalyst for wanting to make change and wanting to start into all this stuff?
Yeah. So when I was 13, I was researching ingredients in the grocery store.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I had an iPod Touch, and I was researching everything that I came across, and I was shopping with my parents, and over time it started to help me ask questions about nutrition, and everything just opened up from there. I was starting to work out and eat healthier, and I feel like that also helped my mind in that progression. But then, now I'm in touch with people like Mike Adams and David Icke and all these people I never thought in the world I'd get in touch with. Simply because I am putting out the message and I care about humanity, and I've seen for so long what they've done, and I'm like, how are we going to take that legacy? Where are we going to put it? Like you were telling me before we went live, you're like, we need younger people to take the reins, to take this message and bring it forward. And that's why I'm going to college campuses and I'm directly sharing it with them. I have a flyer and it has every different topic on it. And I print it out. I talk to the staff. I talk to police. I talk to everybody, and it's just about asking the right questions and getting them thinking and approaching them from where they're at. And it's possible. I shifted my whole family's diet when I was 13, just gradually by introducing new foods. And yeah, I would say it's all interconnected, whether we're talking about health, freedom, truth, anything that has to do with thinking outside the box. That's why I connected with you. And I think several people told me to connect with you, because I was just doing so much outreach. I was connecting with local businesses, and I encourage other people to do that too. Like anyone in the chat here, if there was everybody all across America organizing people in their local county, I think it would all be over. I think this information that you have to share would be widespread. I think a lot of decentralized tools and solutions would be widespread. But I think we lack that sort of organizational component, which I hope to bring to the table.
Do you find that the younger audience or the people that you're reaching out to in college, are they receptive to this information? Let me ask you this, do they realize that the air's, that there's chemtrails in the air, that there's, that the food's not what we're being told it is, that the water's, there's fluoride in the water, and do they care? Does it seem like, or is it like 50-50 or?
Yeah. Well, I went to USF, and then I went to a more like private college, and I like the private one more so. USF, you have a lot of international students. Some of them don't even speak English, and because I'm in Tampa, Florida. So, it's a pretty big university. It's like a city. And so I would talk to all sorts of different students of different demographics, and it was very interesting hearing their responses. I'd say the number one thing I heard was that the food supply here in America is pretty bad. And I think that's been the universal thing I've seen. Second to that, a lot of people are very religious, or at least maybe it's because I'm down south, and I notice it a lot down here, a lot of Christians. But that sparks some question in me. I have nothing wrong with people being a Christian, but if there's so many Christians and, we have a lot of problems in the world, I wonder, maybe there's some other solution out there that maybe the Christians don't see. Like I talk to the churches about growing food on their property, and they kind of look at me like, huh? What do you mean? So there's new ideas that even maybe the churches aren't implementing. Like in the 1800s, many of the churches were pro-slavery, and then the abolitionists were like, wait, well, the Bible's anti-slavery, and then that kind of changed the whole narrative, right? So it's possible that even people in their belief systems with what they think they know could shift, and that could lead to a big change. So I even talk to them, and I just approach it from their level. So I don't go in saying, oh, do you know about aliens? Do you know about paranormal this or that? I go in and I say, what are you interested in? What do you care about? What are you concerned about in the world? And then I go from there, because otherwise you're not really going to have a chance to share these things. But sometimes, I'll ask a question. I'll be like, what do you think about this? Have you ever heard of that? But usually later on in the conversation.
Wow. I applaud you for what you're doing. Ryan, just to introduce Ryan.
Yeah, he's here.
What up?
RPG, Golembeske. He's a Bigfoot researcher. But what I was saying, Ryan, and thank you for coming on. What I was saying to Cory is, I think, Ryan, you're closer probably to my age. Like I'm in my 40s, but like or maybe you're in your 30s. I don't know. But like Cory's younger.
I'm 666 years old. Don't judge me.
But like I was saying, we need more younger people in the field. You know what I mean? To take the reins when, and spread the knowledge, it's really important, I feel,
100%. At this point in my life, I'm a Papa Bear, and the only thing I look for is inspirational people in the next generation. I'm finally ready to be a mentor, and Cory is someone that found me, came to my place to buy eggs, because, eggs, it's like a multivitamin. And when he did, he fell in love with the land just like we did, and that's why we live there now. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, no, he's wildly inspirational. I don't want his head to grow too big, because then we're going to have to call this the Charlie Brown program, because we're all sitting here with big domes. No, he rocks.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Ryan. You said you have eggs there. What do you have, a full functioning farm or?
Yeah, we have a hobby farm at the moment, and if Cory had his way, it would already be a fully functional food forest, feeding all of Newport Richey and Pasco County. Not only feeding them, but inspiring them in a non-religious but spiritual direction to find the best version of themselves. We've got chickens, ducks, turkeys, cats, dogs, parakeet, rats. I mean, you name it. I want my babies to grow up Swiss Family Robinson style, so that when they get older, they just can't help but think that life and nature are more important than whatever our culture is telling them is more important at that point. And so, it's real simple. I want them to grow up, with a healthy gut biome, because they play in the dirt all day. And they come in and they say, I've got chicken shit on my feet. And I go, that's wonderful. Like that's farm life, and we're also at a very young age, they're dealing with life and death, which is another powerful thing we could talk a whole program about, just dealing with death. You know,
Absolutely.
it's hidden from us, unfortunately, but everything, real life is raw and visceral and real, you know, and it's important to, in my opinion, get that younger, because then you need less therapy, less this, less help when you get older, because you've seen it, you've experienced it, you've fallen in love with the fact that this place is dangerous and beautiful. And that's it.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in investigating Bigfoot? Like what happened with that? And do you investigate all areas of the paranormal, or do you just like to focus on Bigfoot? Or
No, I'm a super geek. Like most of us, starts with haunted houses. I grew up in New England, Great New England sea serpents. So it was really like sea serpents are my main joy. But I'm also, because I'm the most afraid of deep, dark ocean, you know. But Bigfoot didn't fall into my lap, but we did a show back in the day around 2008 with my brother called Monster Brothers. So if you want to look up Monster Brothers online, Josh Golembeske, Golembeske, you should be able to find it. It's 4 parts. Grab a 6-pack, sit back, laugh your butt off, and enjoy us like younger. Ironically, I'm still kind of the same crazy guy, but we did it. We pitched it all over Hollywood. Everyone loved us. Everyone. They're like, this is it. This is great. This is real personality. This is when reality TV was just, you know, kind of kicking off and doing its thing. But the one thing they all said to us is, all right, we love it, but you're a nobody. Nobody's going to watch it. This is before they knew that reality TV could create superstars, could create, you know, the next big name. So nothing came of it. Now, when we did pickups for Spike TV and a couple of other networks, we went out and we were like, okay, we got to find a bro that's like us, that's like, you know, high energy, is all about fun. But I don't know about you, I can party my ass off and still get the best possible job done. And I kind of pride myself on that. Most of us did. So my buddy, we found a dude named James Bobo Fay, who went on to be, hey, I can see you now. You're out of the shadows. You're no longer in the witness protection program. Congratulations. Congratulations. And I love the green ambiance in the background. So anyway, we went out and we took him out to Mount Pinos, just north of Los Angeles. Anyone tells you that Bigfoot doesn't cruise right through city centers, doesn't go right through, they don't know Jack. Okay, they don't know Jack. Watch the movie Wolfen, and you will realize that ancient animals and predators have powers and abilities we can't even wrap our heads around. But anyway, we went there and yeah, we partied too hard. I'll be honest, it's too hard. You know, the following morning, I don't know what your audience is, but I'm gonna test the limit right now. My brother's projectile vomiting. I'm behind him pretending to hump him as we're going, Monster Brothers. Now, I'm not that guy anymore, but that was the guy I was back then. And it was more to prove, that no matter what you throw at me or us, that we will still be able to perform. And that's kind of bragging rights. You know, none of us are going to charge across the field Braveheart style and fight for our family and honor anymore. You know what I mean? But we can go out and do some hardcore adventures that scare the crap out of us with people. Anyway, long story short, we became best bros. This is another thing people aren't going to tell you. You party hard with someone and survive it and get work done, you're linked for life. It's respect. That's what it is. It's mad respect. And we did that. And then his show, Finding Bigfoot, went on to be a wild success. 100 episodes, 10 years. I mean, so happy for him. And I think it was season 2. I don't know, this is where it gets muddled, but he called me, season 1.5, whatever, and he said, hey, I need your enthusiasm and love on the show. This is a grind. We're all trying to kill each other, and we just need your positivity and the fact that you might be the one person that actually wants to be here. And I went out, and I wish for everyone listening that they find a team or a tribe, whatever you want to call it, and work your ass off with them, and you have the best time of your life to such an extent that you wish it never ended, and that when you really sit and think about it when you're alone, it actually tears you up. And hopefully that's what Cory and I are trying to create now with the Bigfoot Food Force, you know, or the Bigfoot Nature Fellowship. That's the goal. The goal is to create something so beautiful that you don't want to miss out on what comes next. And so anyway, that's kind of that's it in a nutshell. I'm sorry, I'm talking fast. I feel like I'm late, and I apologize. My life's crazy. I got 4 kids. It's hard to like do anything. So I'm just grateful I'm here.
Thank you so much for coming. Yeah. And tell us about these projects you guys have. These sound really fascinating. You said the Bigfoot Food Force, and then there was another one. Like that sounds really interesting.
Listen, he's the genius. Okay, he's the heart and soul of this. And like I said, I'm at a point now. If it was younger me, I'd be like, shut up, Cory, let me take this, because I'd be all pride and ego. But the beauty of getting older, like you said, and thank you for saying I'm in my 30s. I'm actually turning 50 next year, and I'd strip down if your audience wants it and show you what 50 can really look like. It can look but the beauty of that is I can hand that torch. I can say, yeah, it's his genius. You know, I provide the land and a bit of a spark. I'm not saying I'm not talented too, but it's his heart and soul. So please, Cory, like, wow him.
Yeah, I'm the wood horse. He's the fire horse. I have to supply the wood. So basically, yeah, Bigfoot Food Forest is a permaculture demonstration that we are doing on 5 acres of land in Newport Richey, Florida. And we're trying to show to the community and to the whole area, really, there isn't any permaculture or food forest spots for a good area of this section of Tampa, and so we have a big opportunity. There's thousands of homes being put in. There's constantly developments happening, but yeah, we're trying to grow food and we're learning from people. We're doing it together every single week. We go there. Nice background. And
thank you.
Yeah, you guys look like you're part of like the paranormal. You can tell I'm not so much, maybe with the glow in the background, but I want to be like here to learn about Bigfoot and the paranormal and have you guys kind of chat through it, because I know this is your expertise. It's not so much mine, but Ryan told me that I can go on a Bigfoot expedition with him someday soon. And I think we're going to be doing a lot of traveling with each other soon. I really look forward to that because I have not really traveled a lot myself. I've always done a lot of isolation and like, you know, journaling and philosophizing on all sorts of worldly events. But it would be very interesting to go into the wild and do a lot of the things that he talks about and finding these creatures. And I want you guys to kind of discuss that with each other. So I know Bigfoot Food Forest and everything else we're doing is important too. But since we're talking about the paranormal, I think the way it relates is that we see Bigfoot as like the symbol of man harmonized with nature. Or someone that is like the embodiment, like you can say it's the mascot or archetype of that. And he can go into greater detail because Bigfoot has kind of been detailed through so many different names in history and different cultures as well. So it adds a level of complexity and mystery. But it's very interesting because I've never really heard about Bigfoot until I met Ryan. And I find that amazing that we could maybe use it as like an archetype for human development and human potential, because we find that we live our lives very detached from nature. Often in, you know, these buildings, you know, on screens, not necessarily interfacing face to face anymore. This new generation, that's like all they see, and people, especially older folks, worry about that a lot. So having this mystery where it's like, ooh, what is this creature, and you know, what could it benefit us? I think could be very beneficial. You know, people do that with religions too, having some external like deity to kind of look to. Or symbols like Hinduism, they have like, you know, hundreds of different symbols and icons that represent different forces. So I would love for you guys to dive deeper into that, and I hope I kind of summarized what we're doing with Bigfoot Food Forest, but trying to grow food and help other people do the same.
You know, I love the fact that you throw Bigfoot into it because it has like a paranormal twist, and it might get more people interested. You might get more people from the Bigfoot community interested in like health, and you might get more people from the health industry into Bigfoot, and you can kind of merge communities, you know, and that's what we need to do. We need to unite people more than ever, because the people that control this world are trying to keep us divided, you know, whether it's through politics or religion or, you know, they find very good ways to do that, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a big convergence.
I love that.
Big convergence, truth, medicine, all that. It's all connected, and I realized that, especially talking with Ryan, like, oh, I thought, oh, Bigfoot, how does that relate? Until I actually sat down and had a conversation with him. I did a whole interview on my channel, if people are interested, where I came from that perspective of, like, I have no clue what Bigfoot is. Like, never even really heard of it. I had some neighbor in Pennsylvania who said he saw something like Bigfoot, and I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. But I was into truth and all these different things. I didn't see the connection until I met Ryan.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of different theories, right, on what is Bigfoot. What are these relic hominids living in the forest, right? Why do every Native American tribe have some kind of a different name for these people? And they don't call it an ape. A lot of people want it to be an ape, and I'm not saying there isn't relic populations of Gigantopithecus or even orangutan like out there. That absolutely, they're smart enough to survive and stay away from, you know, the crazies with thunder sticks that are at our core, we're apex predators. So what do apex predators do? They dominate the space. But now you have billions of them living like prey animals, trying to behave but not be apex predators, right? So it's kind of wild. So let's just say, for example, of all the theories that are out there, the one that's the least studied, least liked, because we all want, we want King Kong. We want something spectacular because we brought up our Hollywood movies. What if it is as simple as one of the original 6 tribes, and there's a group of them from Denisovian, Homo erectus, Neanderthal, all these different versions. What if one of them just simply saw the danger in what we're doing right now, which is talking? It doesn't matter if it's spoken word or written word. You can deceive. You can lead people astray. You know what? You can't lead people astray? Through action, through physicality. And what if there was one group of us that said, I see the danger in this, and I also see the beauty in this world that was created for us. We're gonna go live in harmony with nature. And it's that simple. So what if Bigfoot isn't just us, but cut to thousands of generations later? Here's what's fascinating. If you just took us 10 generations deep, if the 3 of us wandered off into the woods and were able to survive and procreate and move forward, in 10 generations, if somebody caught us like in the woods and saw us, they'd be like, it looked like a wild person, it looked like a hermit, like that we heard. You don't really hear about hermits anymore, but they're still out there. Trust me. Everywhere we went on finding Bigfoot, you would wait, and the bar at the very edge of the land, once a month, whoever was living out there would come back in to resupply, have a few drinks, and head back out. If you're lucky, you would catch them. And anyway, now that's 10 generations. Now go to 50. You would look like something that you'd be like, it was humanoid, but I think it was like a young Bigfoot. I'm not sure. You hadn't quite caught up to the size and everything that comes with selective breeding and also living in more harmony with the land. Within 1,000 generations, okay, 1,000 generations of breeding outside of what we call culture, you're Bigfoot. You are gigantic. You are covered in hair. You are living in harmony. Your nostrils will get bigger. Your trapezoids would get larger. You'd be learning to hunt and fight on the ground and low. You would become Bigfoot. So at this current point, I'm open to everything. Like, until someone proves it, the best research, as far as I'm concerned, they keep a wide open mind to it all. But at this point, one of those 6 original tribes of Adam, that's what Bigfoot is. And to be honest, I think it's all of them. And they live in select pockets, because if you are in harmony with nature, do you have 6, 7, 8 billion people? No, you do not. That's not in harmony with nature. That is against God, or whatever you perceive God to be. It is not in harmony. So they live in harmony. And guess what happens when you go out there? Dude, I'm a jack dude. I'm a big dude. I would fight for anyone. I'd fight for the love of my life. But I'm little. The 7-foot dude that's also wildly athletic, that's probably playing in the NFL or NBA right now, they're going to get the bitches. I hate to say it, but that's how it works. And you're going to breed that way, because then it becomes important, because you want your children to have the best chance of survival in the natural world. And we could really die. I can really geek out on this, but just understand that someday it may be proven that Bigfoot is as simple as Homo sapiens sapien walking back into the woods and back into God's intended design.
So basically, like a form of us that never like lost the hair, or or maybe
it's called adaptation. Evolution is bullshit. I mean, we can really piss some people off.
I want to ask you this, Ron. What do you think about this? There's the story of the Anunnaki, and some people feel that the Anunnaki like genetically modified humans, like, and some people think that they took a Bigfoot and they mixed some Anunnaki DNA with Bigfoot DNA. Do you buy into any of that, or do you think that's just all hogwash? I mean, okay, like some of that is like, like hearsay, right? But like if you read like the Sumerian tablets, and I'm not just talking about Sitchin, it seems like there was something around back then. Like, I don't want to call them, I don't want to know if they were extraterrestrial, interdimensional, or whatever. They were just more advanced humans, but it seems like something was around. But like, I don't know if they manipulated Bigfoot, that's more of like a, but I mean, what do you think about all that? Do you have
I think within 1,000 generations, without the help of any magic or any technology or anything, we're Bigfoot. There you go. That's
okay.
Now,
that makes sense.
With that said, do I think that there are peoples outside of right now, people call it the ice wall? Absolutely. There's other lands out there. Listen, what we're learning, which is like hard to accept because you're brought up in a way, the first things they throw on you is here's a globe and here's English. Learn it. And this is your
Yeah.
thing. And everyone else is wrong. Everyone's wrong. Okay. And at a certain age, you're going to face this very harsh truth, which is almost everything you've ever been taught is a lie, or it is a story told by the victors and the present rulers of your culture to make you see the world in a certain way. There is water above and there is water below. That's what all the ancient texts say. They all believe it. And if you can move beyond this plane, extraterrestrial, extra land, it's all right there. It's all right in front of you. But it's a 2 millimeter shift that takes you to the truth, or it takes you to the nonsense. And they 2 millimeter shifted us to the nonsense, which is great. I don't blame them. Remember, we're apex. When you have this many apex predators living together, within that group of apex predators, there's going to be the ones that rule over us, the shepherds. And unfortunately, if you have enough time, enough money, and it goes on for a very long time, they get a little dark and a little more psycho. I don't know what to say, and it's not wrong. I don't believe in right or wrong at all. Now, was there a sudden jump where all of a sudden you have this like intelligence and this change in the cranial size and speech and all this? Yeah, but that literally could have been some of us walking back into the woods, or it could have been some other race coming and going, okay, we're going to take the Monkey King and these fledgling Homo sapiens, and we're going to expedite this process and kick it into motion. I could show you, but at the same time, I could show you pictures like the hairiest woman in the world is like from Thailand or something. And if I showed you a picture of her, she looks like a Bigfoot. And there are people on this earth that are 7, 8, they're giant people. Giantism happens in all species. So yes, all of these things could naturally happen. And if you put us in a natural state, we would tend to roll with stuff like that would make us more adaptable to living in the harsh environments that nature provides. So yeah, I'm wide open to it. Could be anything. And I cannot wait for yourself, Cory, myself, anyone that I love and cherish to figure it out.
Yeah, I agree. And I love where you're going with this. And one thing you mentioned was Antarctica. It's like it's a reality that they have a no-fly zone there. And I think that's for a reason, whether it's because there's like, off-world Germans down there underneath the ice, or there's an ice wall and there's more territories beyond the ice wall. I absolutely believe that. I think that's definitely a
Tell me
possibility.
anything that every nation in the world agrees on. Tell me one thing that every nation, and we've got wonderful variety, that they all agree on. Give me one.
Well, a lot of us men like hot women. It's definitely one thing we agree on.
They're trying to change that as well, just so you know.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, you're right. They are. Unfortunately, they are.
But there is one thing. And it is Antarctica. Nobody can go there. That is the only place on this earth that every single nation, whether they like it or not, have agreed, yeah, no one's allowed to go there. Listen, it ain't effing rocket science. You look where it's strange. And you know what's strange? The fact that they have that treaty. Because that ring goes all around. Go back to the old maps. Go back to the 1500s, 1400s. Go back. It shows the lands. They're all there. You know what they did to make us just look away from it? One, they distract us with all the circus and games, just like the Romans did. It's genius and it's easy. And they just say, we were dumb then. We were dumb. We didn't know. No, you know what that was? That was humans at their most badass, exploring the very edges of the unknown. Imagine getting into a boat back in the day and everyone's telling you you're going to be eaten by a leviathan. You're going to fall off the edge of the earth. But humans still got on the boats and went for it. Those are the Spartan-like humans that I try to embody these days. That's what I think Cory actually is the reincarnated version of. It's just our modern version it's literally wild to think I'm going to grow my own food and live in harmony with the land. That's crazy these days. That's what a fucking supermarket's for. You know what I mean? We don't have to do that. We've outsourced that to these giant companies that love us.
Yeah, right. But I love what you and Cory are doing, because we cannot trust our food source anymore, and it's so important that people start growing their own food, or at least learn how. It's very important. And Cory, did you want to add to that?
No, I think you said it perfectly. Yeah, it's crazy how our average food to table is like several thousand miles, and yet. This is something, if you go back in time, not even a couple of generations, everyone had a farm, everyone had a business. Like, what happened? Everything got very centralized with the increase of technology and all this stuff. I would imagine we would have more knowledge than ever, more ability to be decentralized, not less, having information at our fingertips. Like I see people who are like, I threw a plant in the ground and it can't grow. And I'm like, well, did you do research? And it's like, no, I just like kind of expected it to grow. It's like, well, interesting, right? I wonder if we are evolving to our potential using these tools. And I think it is possible. But regardless of those tools, the answer has always been here, which is nature. I believe the answers are all around us. We just don't know. And so we suffer due to the lack of knowledge. And I'm pretty sure that's a Bible quote too. But if we had that knowledge, then we can understand what we should and should not do. See, some people will say it's a fallacy to say nature is good. They call it the naturalistic fallacy, or the appeal to nature fallacy in philosophy, saying that if something says it's natural, it can't be good. But that's if you don't have knowledge, right? So if you understand a tornado is bad, like, or a tornado is going to hurt you, then you're working with nature. But it doesn't make the tornado bad if it's natural to occur, although we often find they're not natural necessarily. They could be man-made. Right. But that being said, if it's inevitable, we learn to work with it. We don't say, oh my gosh, it's so bad, we have to resist what is inevitable, what is natural. We learn to harmonize our actions with it. And see, it's the same type of mindset when we born a baby into this world and we feel like we have to inject them with like hundreds or thousands of chemicals that increased like 3 times within the past 30 years. That's very interesting. Do we think that a baby is perfect by God, like perfect by nature, or do they have to be fixed by man because they're imperfect by nature? This is the mindset I focus on a lot in my works, and that's why I get along with Ryan, because he's saying, hey, if we do just return to the force and who we are, we might see everything shift. And everywhere I look, if I'm looking at medicine or even politics, if people return to who they are, honesty, a radical honesty, everything starts to shift and people actually treat each other with respect, and there isn't traumas that are being suppressed, and then people put on these identities and then they go and kill a bunch of people that they don't know hundreds of miles away, and all this crazy stuff that just seems very inhumane. And that's because it is inhumane. It's not human. The word human is inhumane, right? The word morality came from illness. It's not a coincidence, and that used to be associated with the priests, religion. It's all connected.
Yeah, sometimes I know this is going to sound pretty conspiracy theory based, but sometimes I feel like the world's being terraformed by the reptilians to make it the way they want it. You know what I mean? Like whether it's with the geoengineering or, weather or, food or, it's, getting us to eat bugs and everything else, and, having people mutilate themselves and all kinds of, I could go, where there's a lot of different things, but or it could just be really sick humans, but what I want to do is I don't want to get too far. I want to get on Bigfoot, because I know we could definitely get, but Ryan, one thing I want to ask you was you shared some really interesting, I listened to a podcast you did, and you shared some really interesting techniques you use to try to communicate with Bigfoot. I think one was, you said you shoot on a metal basketball hoop, and then you said you can hear them actually like sometimes practicing on it or something like that. And then you said something about you like hit a tree. Can you talk about that stuff? That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, you're one of the missions you should have in life is to find the proper mentors. Some of the greatest advice ever given to me in terms of running a business is you should interview a new potential employee or tribe member every single day, because it is hard. It's like dating. It's like, how long does it take to find the one, right? So you're going to want to go through a lot of people till you find the one that's actually enlightened enough. And there are many ways to enlightenment. So you got to find the one that resonates better with you. Well, I worked on finding Bigfoot, and we went everywhere, and I was the dumb white man. I was following the lead of my elders, my white elders, and I was doing what they were doing, banging on trees and going in the woods and take your camera and do this and do that. But like I said, if I give anyone any advice, it is to always maintain your curiosity and your desire to play to learn. We learn faster as members when we play. You look 10 times faster. So I paid attention when we went. We spent a lot of time on Native American reservations, and they said the same thing every time. And I hate to tell you, but whoever's the current rulers, they think they know everything and they think they're right. And that's unfortunate, because they would say the same thing. They go, what do you do when you go into somebody else's home? You let them know you're coming, you bring them a gift, and then you are respectful while you were there. And that's another thing about our culture. They've tried to overcomplicate everything so that you really think that you need help to do anything. And as Cory will say, nature is simple. All the answers are simple and easy because it's not meant to be hard. So what what wisdom did they give me where once I began to apply it, everything changed? I began to have interactions all the time. And it's simple. Before you go to a place, whether you believe in the power of prayer, telepathy, mind speak, or whatever, visualization, manifestation, I don't care what you call it, get over yourself. Whatever that is, let them know you're coming. Here's the easy way. Look at a map. Look exactly where you're going on that map and say, you can call him Bigfoot if you want. You can call him Sasquatch, call him whatever. But just, if I was to say what you should call them forest people. Call them your lost brothers and sisters. Treat everybody like family. That's been one of my secrets to my life. Everybody's family until they prove otherwise, and then smash face. No. But tell them you're coming and say, I love you. We're coming. It is just temporary. We are looking for a unique experience that connects us closer to nature. We're seeking wisdom. Our culture is lost in its own ego. I mean, really, it's that simple. And that's not wrong. It's not wrong. It's just the way it is right now. And then when you get there, you bring a gift. What do you do when you go visit someone for the holidays or their house? You bring them a bottle of wine. You cook some food for them. Listen, it's not rocket science. So bring them something. And that thing can be, I would say, if you're going to bring them food, bring them something organic. But you know what? Some people have great success with Snickers bars and other things because you know what? That shit's delicious. And if I'm this intelligent species in the woods that's mostly tearing apart deer and eating their liver so that I can get what I need to be able to see better at night, and somebody gives me a Snickers, yeah, I'm going to take it once in a while. I don't care what it does to me. But bring them something. And that can also be as simple as, when you take a hike and you're just walking and you see that rock and you're like, that's my rock. I love this rock. This rock's coming home with me. And you immediately fall in love, and that's another thing with our culture. Like, our love is very simple. It's the love between a parent and a child, or the person you marry and have a parent and child with. And that's it. That's pretty much it. Maybe best friends. But if you go around the world and you travel, you'll see there's all sorts of words and there's all sorts of kind of love. And the love that you have with a rock that you just met is love. Now, if you were to leave that for them, I don't know how or why, because I was raised as an ignorant white man, but they feel it and they know it's important to you. And it's probably just because of the way you hold it and the fact that when you go to put it down to leave it for them, you hesitate like it is your baby. It's funny. It's probably just that simple. But leave that for them and say, I love you. Thank you for letting me visit. And then go about your business. If you are in bear country, what do? You ring bells. You let them know you're coming because you don't want to startle them. What happens if you're in your bed and you wake up in the middle of the night and someone's suddenly standing in your room? You're going to freak the F out, right? Just take that very simple mindset. Be respectful, be loving, be kind, and be generous. And watch that veil lift or that door open, whatever terminology makes you feel comfortable with all of this. And it will change everything for you in the woods. And really where it will get you to, which is the major step you need to connect with nature, is to be present. None of us are present. They've got us so spun on all the mistakes we've made and the embarrassments we've had and all the stress of what's coming that we can't just sit right here with you two gentlemen and go, guess what? I'm in love with this moment because I get to be me. I get to literally be me with you two, and you're not judging me. You're seeing me for who I am, and you're actually enjoying it. That is heaven on earth. And bring that to the woods with you, and I'm telling you, watch what happens. It's that simple.
I love it, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that's amazing. And what I want to ask you is, do you think a lot of Bigfoot encounters include missing time, orbs, or fear or paralysis, or anything like that?
Some, because in my very humble opinion, large apex predators or just large animals in general can use something called infrasound, which is low frequency sound, which once again is simple. If you want to communicate like across a vast tract of verdant forest with stone and trees and everything, low frequency sound permeates and goes through. High frequency doesn't do jack. So they would learn. I don't know if you've ever been around a Mongolian throat singer. It is one of the most incredible things you ever see. You cannot believe a human being can do something like that, but they can modulate their pitch and their throat to be like, so what do I think? I think they use that to communicate, and the byproduct of infrasound can be a whole manner of things. Some of that includes like creating a fear cage around you. Like if you're in a haunted house, people think it's haunted, you could just have an exposed wire behind your bed that's firing off and whatnot, and it's messing with your bioelectric field, and it is causing you to trigger and see hallucinate all sorts of stuff. I'm telling you, it's all, Cory will back me, it's always simple. If you do all the simple things and then it isn't, then yes, there may be some wild mysteries and high-tech things that are happening out there, but for the most part it's simple. So low frequency sound would be how they are communicating and moving around us. Now on top of that, Bigfoot can mimic all the sounds in the forest, like take a barred owl, like a like I do a pretty good one, but it's not even the best. They can mimic it. Like every time I have activity around my house, the owls show up. It's them talking with the owls and moving it. If I was in the woods, right, would I use the coyotes? Would I follow them and see what they kill and decide if I want to eat that or not? It's always about limiting stress and pressure, because God forbid you get hurt as whatever you are in the woods. Suddenly you can't feed yourself, you can't protect yourself or your family. So everything is about making it as easy and as simple as possible. So anyway, I'm sorry to head off into like a sidebar, but yeah, I can kind of rip on any of it. I've just been so deep in it for so long, and it's wonderful. So
I love it. This is awesome. Cory, did you want to add anything, or did you want to ask?
No,
anything?
keep going. I want to hear more questions from you, because you talk to all the paranormal people, and
Okay.
we have these deep discussions all the time together, Ryan and I. So I want to give you the floor opportunity, because you have good questions.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're good.
So Ryan, what are some patterns that you keep seeing in eyewitness accounts that kind of people might be overlooking, or maybe some patterns for people to look for in their own encounters?
So John Green gave us a body of research which is the most sound and profound, and what he found, not to rhyme over and over, was that when you're in your car traveling, you have the highest likelihood of having an encounter with relic hominids. So what does that mean, right? That just means that, okay, Bigfoot, for those of you that don't know, Sasquatch, whatever, it is an ambush predator. It is a lost or wanting to be hidden tribe of humanoids that exist in the natural world. In my very humble opinion, we do not live in the natural world. We live in the unnatural world and are like cockily proud of it. You know what I mean? So the majority of what these people are interacting with, they have the best chance when they're in motion, when they're moving too fast. These things, they've been clocked at going 40 to 60 miles an hour on the side of the place. Now, I have never bared witness to that myself, but I know I can run high 20s, and I'm not an Olympic level sprinter. And when I had an encounter in the Pacific Northwest, I will tell you this, if I would have actually sprinted away when this was happening, I would have gone over 30 miles an hour. I would have blown my knees out. I would have been fully adrenalized, but I would have ran faster than a human. So now take me, who's fluctuating anywhere from 205 to 215, and I am in good shape at this point, but now make me 10 foot, 800 pounds, and literally Beowulf or Grendel or whatever, Superman, Hercules, whatever you think of as like the arch stereotype of like the ultimate human. That's what these things are. They are. And whether they're avatars or real, it doesn't matter. These things can climb any tree. They can swim any ocean. They can go to any depth. They can battle any animal. They can do anything. They live like, I think most men, and I don't mean to be sexist, and maybe women too, but men would love to experience for like a weekend, right? To be Superman for a weekend and to just be like, I can do anything I want, take anything I want, do anything I want. So that's what they are. But they use this ambush predator. They're also shy, right? The great equalizer is the thunder stick, okay? We have technology. We're like the dwarves. We dove deeper into the technology and less into ourselves, okay? So we can equalize that distance. But for example, I just saw this amazing video of these guys demonstrating at 60 yards a bear spray on a grizzly. The grizzly can accelerate from 60 so fast that unless you have the bear spray out and you're pointed, that thing is going to hit you and tear you apart.
Wow.
That's just a grizzly. That's just a, and you know what, you're that's 800. You can be up to 1,000 pounds, and maybe 8 foot at the time, but that's a grizzly. If relic hominids are real and Bigfoot's real, and they can range from 7 foot, maybe probably even 6. They're probably like us, They've got short guys too. They got tall guys, skinny guys. In Florida, most of them are skinny. The one we saw on our property, over 9 feet tall and thin, still slightly broad shoulders, but long and lanky, right? Because it's suited for the environment. But these mother truckers are faster and stronger and more clever. Shit, dude, when Leif Erikson came over and the Native Americans said, yeah, don't go up there to Nova Scotia. That's where the giants live. And he was like, dude, we're conquerors. You need to slow your roll. We're going to go check it out. And as they're cruising along, and the cliffs are hundreds of feet high with trees that are over 100 feet tall, and there are not boulders, but large rocks that, like, I don't pick a 300-pound guy. Yeah, 2 hands, you could huck it probably 20 feet. These were coming up over the top of these trees that are over 100 feet, over these cliffs, and landing all around the ship, but not hitting it. And these ships are moving. And you know what he said? He said, yep, we're not going up there. They own that place. That's how wildly athletic, when we had our sighting on our property, the first thing, you want to know how you know when people have a real experience, is because their eyes go owl wide and their goose pimples show up and their hair stands up in their arms, and their first words are not, what are we having for dinner, or that was weird. It's, are we safe? And that's the first thing the missus said to me after we had one on our property. Are we safe? And I just looked at her and I said, honey, if something like that wanted us, we're all gone immediately. Not even, I don't care if I had double guns, I was like Stallone and Cobra and I'm just facing. No. Thank God they're peaceful. Thank God they're more in touch with nature. They understand that you only kill and eat as much as you need to survive so that everybody can eat at the table. It's, like I said, it's simple. Anyway, I'll keep rambling, so you just got to redirect me because I love that. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, have you ever had any encounters with any other like forest creatures, like a fae or fairy type being, or any little people or anything like that? I just gotta ask.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Every reservation I've ever been on, this is how it goes. Hey, yeah, of course we got Bigfoot here, but what about the little people? And you want to know? I recently, or not recently, within the past couple of years, I saw this amazing little cartoon, and it showed a giant Bigfoot playing the drums, and what appeared to be little Native Americans, which are just average height, dancing around. What if, my friend, what if we are the little people?
Wow. I never thought about that.
I hadn't either, and I really think that's exactly what it is. Listen, there's a reason the Smithsonian has $1 billion budget, and you don't hear shit from them, and they don't do shit. You know what they do? They are paid to go around the world and cover up the truth of what this world really is. There were giant trees. There were giant mushrooms. Everything was larger, which once this ambulance goes by, I'm on Main Street, Newport Richie. It is wonderful, except for this. And let's just take a moment. I pray that whoever is in trouble, it's not painful. Although we choose our life, so maybe they came here to experience that. But anyway, sorry, I distracted. What else you want to hit, and we'll hit it.
Oh, no, I just wanted to say you're absolutely right about the Smithsonian. I know a lady, her name's Mary Joyce, out of the Cashiers, North Carolina. She's written a book about Bigfoot, but she's also written about the Cherokee little people, that they've found these tunnels and they've seen these like miniature Cherokee, just like you said, like the 3 foot tall versions of like Cherokee, and then, I've heard stories about the Smithsonian also covering up like evidence of giants. I've heard around the Serpent Mound up here where I'm at. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, awesome. 30, I'm like 20 miles north of the city. So like, I'm like more like Western Pennsylvania. Like this Pittsburgh's like, yeah, but like,
the Alleghenies are, in my opinion, if we were picking who gets to research in what areas, and people would pick the Pacific Northwest or even the Florida, I'd pick the Alleghenies before anything.
Are you familiar with the Ridge?
Dude.
The Ridge is a big spot up here. Everybody likes it,
Yeah, some of the best researchers are up there too, and all I can tell you is listen, I've driven through Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure it took me a week to just drive across it. Okay, people don't know how big that shit is. No, it is.
I always tell people it's like Pittsburgh's on one side, Philly's on the other side, and you got Harrisburg in the middle, and it's like a 6-hour drive from Pittsburgh to Philly. Yeah, it's crazy.
And Cory knows.
I was from it. Yeah, that was where I lived my whole life. So.
Yeah. Where are you from, Cory? Because I'm on the west side.
Yeah.
Are you going from the east side?
East side, yeah, Poconos.
Oh, okay. Yep. I know where you're at. Yeah. That's a big vacation spot. People that's up by like Seven Springs, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I used to go snowboarding up there way back in the day.
Yeah.
It was let me see here. What other questions do I have for you? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, someone mentioned in the chat. Sorry, Susquehanna hot. I wonder if I don't know. Just there's a lot of Native American names here, and it's very. Sounds like Sasquatch, It's got a very similar. Anyways, go ahead. Ask your question.
No, go ahead.
Your comments are making good points. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, they do. They're really aware. I have a good audience. They're really aware.
And I just want to say hi to everyone in the audience. I'm a bit of a Luddite, so I just brought that up. So thank you all for tuning in. And remember, it takes a village to do anything well. And if we all come together, like you had actually said in the beginning, we need to bring the ufologists and the Bigfooters and the ghost hunters. We need to come together. We're all hammering around the same thing. And when we team up, we'll figure it out. That's all I can say.
Speaking of UFOs, have you ever had a UFO experience while you were out looking for Bigfoot?
It depends on what your idea of a UAP or a UFO is. If you're talking just giant mothership, absolutely. Dude, the wonderful thing about life is it's like the last place you think you'd have it, you end up having it. We were out in Nebraska, okay, of all places, just north of Omaha, Nebraska, and we were with Native Americans using prayer to talk to Bigfoot and spirits. I have an open mind, but I came from the Roman Catholic upbringing where it kind of screwed up a lot of friends and myself a lot, made me feel guilty about a lot of stuff. So I kind of have an edge there that I'm trying to let go of. So I would have never chose that. And in one weekend with these Native Americans, God bless them, they're amazing people. I had more crazy stuff and more crazy experiences happen than ever. Let me just walk you into this, right? So we went to a place that they called the Bigfoot Playground. Okay, so you have to kind of come up, and you come up on this hill, and it goes down and comes up and goes down, but you're up. And we go in there, and I'm there with my boy from Small Town Monsters. I don't know if you interviewed anyone from there, but I'm there, and I am staring at the woods, and there's 4 of us, and no lie, about a football field away. Distance is weird at night, whatever. The woods light up with lights, and they look like Christmas lights, like a trail of Christmas lights that's got to be 120 degrees of distance, and it's just in front of us. And it's so either I'm staring, and it's woods though, so either I'm staring at the bottom of a mothership, or I'm experiencing fae and fairies at a level that I never thought of. And listen, I'm stone sober. I'm down to roast a bull. I'm down to have a few drinks, stone sober. And I'm staring at this, and I'm looking, and they're staring at this. And it is, I don't know if you're familiar with Thomas Kincaid. He's a specific type of artist that does like dreamy. It's almost like you're looking at everything through candle frosted glass. It's beautiful. I love Thomas Kincaid. But that's what it looked like. Now, as we're staring at it, and I'm pinching myself going, this can't be real. I've never seen anything like this. And why am I seeing this using prayer in Nebraska? And it's the Macy Indian Reservation. And there's 2 eyes, blue and orangish red, and they're moving through it. But there's so many lights that it's hard to spot them, because you're also like, is this really, is this real? I'm like, am I allowed to have this? The range of emotions that you go through when you bear witness to something that everyone in your culture says could never happen. It's not real. is wild, because you are wildly unprepared for the emotional range you go through. Well, they're moving through it. So we actually moved to the other side of the vehicle because they're getting near the end. And they actually come out. So at the very end, where all these lights are twinkling, and if you ask everyone there, we saw different colors. We saw slightly different things, but saw the same thing, which is also interesting. But these two eyes come out, and I'd never seen eye shine. Like, remember, we're not shining any lights at this. There is nothing. We're in absolute darkness, being respectful at the Bigfoot playground. And these two things come out, and they come right to the edge where the lights kind of twinkle out, and they stop. And listen, I don't know how long I can hold my breath. I used to do spearfishing, and I could do underwater. I got to around a minute and a half, and that was like a big deal for me. I must have been holding my breath for 10 minutes straight because I couldn't believe what was happening. And then, no lie, the two eyes are like this, and then one of them rises up into the air as if it stood up. And I'm talking like stood up. And I lost my breath, like very few things. I've seen the birth of my own children, which I wish for everyone is the most beautiful thing you will ever see. This was that powerful. I went, and then tap on the shoulder. We have been here long enough. It's time to go. We need to be respectful. They've showed us what they want to show us, but we have to go. And then in this moment where, like I said, was it the bottom of a mothership? Was it Faye or was it Bigfoot? I don't know. We got in our cars and we drove out. And as we were driving away, you watched all the lights just kind of like other UFO experiences I've had, or UFO experiences where the lights just slowly go out. Not quick, they just slowly go out. And they went out and we drove away. Yeah.
I got a question for you about that. Like, in that moment, do you feel like that you had put the forest on alert, or do you feel like they were showing off for you, or a little bit of both?
Listen, either it was the best orchestrated hoax I may ever unwillingly participate in, or no, what I saw was, they lifted the veil, or they showed off. It's a Bigfoot playground. Play. Once again, wow. We're animals, mammals specifically. We learn through play. They were playing. And so the first time we went there, we went at night. So I'm trying to rationalize it the whole time. I'm like, it's got to be car lights below. There must be a town. We must be seeing something. It was so spectacular that it couldn't be real. That's the best way to describe it. So we went back the next day, and I couldn't wait to disprove it. I couldn't wait, because I don't deserve that. I didn't deserve that. As much as I'm into all this, it's funny. Like, when you have the experience, it's like you do everything you can to shoot it down. And we went back, and where we were, we went to the top of the hill, and then it dips all the way down and then comes back up. Where we were seeing, now, if you went to the big other side of the hill and all the way down, there's a road down there and there's some houses. But no, we were just seeing into the woods.
Wow.
So what I saw was 100% either. And listen, I've worked with a lot of Native Americans. I've never seen them that well organized. It would blow my mind, because they would have needed 20 people or more to like move silently, put up Christmas lights and tinker them, and they would have had generators that make no noise. Like, I will never say that things couldn't be faked, right? Humans are wildly intelligent and capable. But this was magnificent. Greatest thing I've ever bared witness to in the woods in terms of spectacle,
Wow.
Yep.
Holy shit. Wow. I mean, we've been going about an hour. What I wanted to do was I wanted to see if you guys would come back for a part 2, because I have another show. But like, this was so amazing. I'd love to have you guys back. And I wanted to give you guys a couple minutes to promote, like, Cory, if you want to promote again what you guys are doing with the farm, the Bigfoot food farm and stuff like that. Like, so, but like RPG, this was amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. Like, I'm blown away by these stories. I mean, like, this is like, I love real encounters like this. I really do. Like, but like, take a few minutes, guys, and tell everybody like where they can find you, and like the stuff you're working on, and thank you again. This was awesome, and thank you for setting this up, Cory. This was amazing.
No worries. I know you guys would like it. That's why I wanted to set it up. So and you talk to everybody about paranormal stuff. I told you you're my go-to person. So thank you for the moderator in the chat linking my links, so it's easy for everybody to access. Taplink.cc, you see it on the screen as well, has all my links for all platforms depending on where you're watching this, including Rumble. Chief Mustache is on Rumble. So hello to you, and I'm also live on my end, so hello to my chat. Welcome. So yeah, all my links are on there. Our main project here in Newport Richey in Florida is called Bigfoot Food Forest, and we have a website called bigfootflorida.com. Now, it's going through a revision, and we do have some really big ideas coming up soon, because Ryan went on TV and he's getting all these opportunities to speak around the world. I might be joining him along those travels, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It already is a lot of fun, just with our meetups and how we're growing food. If you're in the Tampa Bay region, or you know people who are in Tampa, this is one of the fastest growing cities in all of America. A lot of people are moving here. Also, if you're coming down here for a vacation, because we have some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, you can always come and visit, because we're going to make this the go-to spot. At least my vision is to create a truth-oriented center where people can learn about Bigfoot, extraterrestrial, UFO, anything that is basically decentralized and deserves to be in people's hands, just so they know about it. They don't have to agree with it, right? You don't have to agree with anything that we say, and that's why I love Ryan so much, is because he's just open and honest and like, yeah, I could be wrong about this or that. I'm the same way. And I just want people to see that information, have access to it, rather than it being, pushed down the echo chamber. Like, for instance, Mike Adams developed with over $2 million his own decentralized, uncensored AI. And typical skeptic, you can send me all your interviews that you've ever done. He will transcribe it and add it to his AI, and you will have the only AI in the entire world on the topic of paranormal. I need that from you if you want to provide it for me, but anybody in the chat, provide any material for me. I will send it to Mike Adams, and you will have an AI built by a truther who is massively successful, who has probably the only AI in the world that can answer questions on these topics. That's a really big deal, and we're trying to create these alternatives for people. He actually just released an engine where you could generate your own books, so that's insane. But this technology is moving forward, so now we have the opportunity to educate humanity more than ever. And so with our demonstration center, not just having that online resource, but the in-person connection, we can really transform the world. So that's our goal, bigfootflorida.com, and then my link is on the screen. Thank you to the moderators.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much. This was awesome, and I'll begin to Cory, if you want to link up with me, but to do a part 2, we can definitely do that. Absolutely, for sure, or whatever you guys want to promote. But I love this. This was absolutely amazing. And guys, I just wanted to say, stick around. We're not on this link. It's going to be on a different link. But I have Frank Castle coming on next. He's going to be talking about some of his astral experiences and a near-death experience. So that'll be in about a couple minutes. I just got to go to the bathroom real quick, and then I'll be on a different link. But yeah, thank you so much, Ryan, RPG, and thank you, Cory. And this was mind blowing. Thank you.
Always appreciate it.
Yeah,
all right.
and just to conclude it, I've only asked to project it twice. Once when I was wildly sick, when I was wildly sick, and the other time when I was having passionate sex. We'll talk next time.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night.